So, I came across this post detailing a lot of the changes to Pokemon Champions, and yeah, thanks to the VGC community, VGC community seems to like Pokemon a lot, which is helpful. So we're just gonna go through some of the changes, recapping stuff in Champions. It's all stuff pretty much that I've posted in the Discord, but I kind of want to go over and talk about it specifically with like a look at our format and how it might impact us. So first of all, I want to start off saying I don't know what we're going to be doing moving forward. I have a couple of ideas leaning towards some sort of an off-season thing. I don't think with the current format it makes sense to do a regular season. We're going to have to take some time and look. But good news is off-season format would theoretically be sooner than a full season. So keep that in mind. But let's look at this. So first thing they have on this list, only 185 Pokemon available at launch. Regulation MA, including 59 Mega Evolutions. 59 Mega Evolutions is accurate. 185 individual Pokemon, due to the way that we split certain species and whatnot, it actually comes out to like 210 for us. I don't think that 185, that doesn't feel accurate. I have a whole list here that we can go through later and look at. When transferring Pokemon, hold on, no. List of items available, no choice band, choice specs, life orb. Here's the full list. Like I said, so we got the type boosting items like black belt, black glasses, bright powders on that list. We'll probably, if we play with this, probably ban bright powder, just because bright powder is not competitive. Focus band and focus sash are fine. Focus band's not very good, but you could have it. King's Rock, I don't remember if we banned King's Rock or not. I think we did, but I'd have to go back and look. So yeah, those are that's that. But otherwise, it's all those things that I listed in there. I don't think... at first, I didn't see Lumberry. That must just get activated or like get available later. The video I was looking at was just somebody basically going through the items from the start. So other stuff must get unlocked that I didn't see before. When transferring Pokemon to Champions, it maintains training from original game. IVs are set to 31. EVs are maintained from the original game. For those of you playing, I'm sure that's a big time saver. Transferring could throw up an error issue, ignoring that. Full paralysis chance now at 1/8 instead of 1/4. They're getting better. They've almost fixed it. They should. It should just be removed. That's really how I feel. 1/8 is better. It is just gonna feel worse now when you get full parrot, I think. But it's an improvement. Max sleep turn set to 2 instead of 3 turns. That's really big. You're gonna burn your first turn automatically. 33% chance from what I see that you wake up on turn 2. Turn 3, you're definitely waking up. That's makes it a lot more predictable. The fact that there's only one turn that is in flux really is going to weaken sleep, and I think it adds a little bit of tactics to it. Like, if you know these mechanics, you know, like, okay, I have a chance to be able to put something to sleep. It's got to burn a turn. Now you have a 1 in 3 chance to get a free switch or something, and then you're back. It's not so punishing. I think that's good. Freeze. 1/4 chance of thawing out. For some reason, I thought it was 10%, but it was 20%, and now it's 25% chance to thaw out. Maximum 3 turns. That's really nice. Freeze has not been fun since they introduced it in 1996, and they haven't changed it really, I think, since Gen 2 in 1998. So long overdue freeze mechanic change. This is just some reconnection stuff. You can reconnect to a battle if you're experiencing connection issue. The timer will continue and moves will be auto-selected until you reconnect. Doesn't really affect us. Rental teams doesn't really affect us. Mega Evolution order is still unclear. So this is a video of some testing that I saw done. I still don't know about switching. I haven't seen anything with switching compared to Mega Evolution, but who Mega evolves first doesn't seem to be clear. It does seem to maybe be related to who's hosting the game, which I don't know how that'll translate to a Pokemon Showdown format. I would imagine, will probably just continue with doing it speed-based. Because if they have to make a guess based on, like, hosting, either they're just going to make it random, which is no fun, or it's speed-based, which I kind of hope they do. Stuff about ranked battles, trainer name. Okay, move changes. Unseen Fist not only deals a quarter damage through the Protect, same as Extra Piercing Drill. We kind of suspected this based on the leak from last week. Incineroar loses knockoff and U-turn. That's pretty big. I mean, we've experienced Incineroar without knockoff. I think early Gen 7, it didn't have access to knockoff, and it was just using Darkest Lariat, or it'll probably use some Throat Chop occasionally, and no U-turn. That sucks, but it'll use Parting Shot, which does mean Assault Vest, when it gets added to the game, will be less of a viable option for Incineroar, because it won't be able to do those U-turns. It'll have to Parting Shot if it wants to pivot. Obviously, I think this is a bigger impact in VGC. I think Incineroar, Assault Vest Incineroar is pretty common. Archaladon loses Body Press. That's big. For those of you who used Archaladon, I'm sure that you can attest those stamina boosts giving it free, really strong body presses made it a lot more potent. And now without that, that's a big loss. Moonblast now only has a 10% chance of dropping the special attack as opposed to a 30% chance. Thank goodness. This is something I've wanted forever. As far as I can see, it's still a 95 base power move. This does bring it more in line with moves like Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Ice Beam. So happy about that. Dire Claw now has a 30% chance, down from 50% chance to inflict one random status condition. I think with the nerfs to sleep and paralysis and Dire Claw moving down to a 30% chance, Dire Claw is probably okay in the format. Just from an initial kind of guess here, I think that that's okay. I'd love to hear what other people think about that. Fake Out is no longer usable after Amon's first turn on the field. This is not a huge impact, but I do remember seeing a lot of times when people would basically click Fake Out on the second or third turn to play around stuff like Thunderclap or Sucker Punch. Could be useful. I also think that could be that could matter, since I do think PP will be more important. The fact that you can't even select Fake Out if you want to try to stall out turns due to PP stuff, you can't do that with Fake Out either. Snap Trap has been changed from a grass move to a steel move. I know, I gotta move it over here and take a look. I know that Snap Trap is a signature move of Galarian Stunfisk. I don't remember what it does though. Okay, 35 base power, 100% accuracy. It's just a trapping move. Just a trapping move. But at least now Stunfisk gets stab on it, which is crazy that it didn't before. First impression buff from 90 to 100. I'm not sure what Pokemon in Champions right now gets access to first impression. I do, because Golisopod's not in, and Low Kicks isn't in. I can't think of any that get access to it. But that'll be good to know with whenever they show up. Aegislash learns Poltergeist. That's pretty big. I think that's really big. Like, if you wanted to use physical ghost move, you had to use Shadow Claw or Shadow Sneak. I think maybe, I don't even know if it got Phantom Force, but that's really big. That's a huge power boost. Obviously, like I said, I think PP stalling is going to be a more sought after strategy in this format. So Poltergeist only having 8 PP, it's interesting because with stuff like Earthquake going from 16 down to 12, but Poltergeist actually staying the same, and stuff like Protect going down, I actually think moves that were originally 8 PP are actually more viable now because everything else has come down, but they've stayed the same. That's kind of interesting to think about. But either way, big boost in terms of base power move for Aegislash. Physical Aegislash, probably a little bit more viable now. I always liked Special Aegislash a lot just because it had more reliable stat moves. Greninja and Garchomp lose Nasty Plot. So this, I think they only got them in ZA. So lose is a hard thing to say because they never, I think, fully had access to them. But still, they don't have access to them, so that's important. Salt Cure now only deals 1/16 chip damage, down from 1/8. That means presumably water and steel types are going to be taking 1/8 as opposed to 1/16. Huge nerf to Garganical, in addition to the fact that Protect PP goes down and no terrestrialization. Garganical, sell your Garganical stocks, because it's not looking good for him. What else we got? Drampa, Scizor, Charizard get Roost again. Very excited about that. Really good for Drampa due to the fact that it gets Berserk. And if you went down to 50% HP, then you could Roost back up. You could maybe activate Berserk again. That's very big. Defensive Charizard sets, love having Roost back. Same thing with defensive Scizor sets back. I'd love to see this for all three of these Pokemon. I mean, Roost is a good move. You're going to benefit from it either way, but I think defensive Charizard X really missed Roost. And then Drampa can really use it, and Scizor really wants that back. Ironhead flinch chance reduced from 30 to 20. This is really big. I mean, Ironhead by itself was like one of those moves that could bail you out late in the game. 20% is still like not insignificant by any means. I think obviously the first thing everyone thinks of is how this affects Jirachi. Now it's only a 40% chance for Jirachi to get an Ironhead flinch. As opposed to when before it was 60. So if you Ironheaded with Jirachi and your opponent didn't flinch, it's actually hacks. Paraflinch Jirachi used to be, you'd get a Body Slam Para, and then on top of that you'd be going for flinch, you'd be going for Ironhead flinches. So they only had a 30% chance to actually get an attack off if you went Body Slam Para or T-Wave Para and then just started Ironheading. You only had a 30% chance to get an attack off. With the changes to Paralysis and the Ironhead flinch chance reducing on Serene Grace Pokemon like Jirachi down to 40%, what does that come out to? You only have a 54% chance of having them skip a turn? No, that's also too high. I gotta do some math over here on the side. I'm too dumb to figure it out. 0.6 times 0.125. 0.75, and then that would be so 0.47 or yeah, so 47.5% chance roughly. I think that's right. To get a flinch somewhere around there. There's some math intricacies that I'm obviously glossing over, but still big. Sylveon and Kanto Ninetales relearn Mystical Fire. Really big for Sylveon in particular. Once that coverage hits steel types. And then also Mystical Fire just makes it a little more bulky to special attackers because it's low in special attack. Hydreigon and Dragonite relearn Iron Tail. Kind of impactful. Not big. Those aren't Pokemon that are running that too often, but doesn't hurt. Dragonite loses Encore. It's not listed on here, but Gengar also, from what I remember, lost Encore. But maybe they didn't put that in here because we already knew that. Hagron relearns Mega Kick. Obviously, that's very important. Sunny Day, Sandstorm, High Horsepower, Stomping Tantrum, Superpower, Body Press, Shadow Claw, Dragon Rush, Brutal Swing, Smart Strike, but loses access to Scorching Sands and Magnet Bomb. Really, the big one in there is probably Stomping Tantrum for doubles, Stomping Tantrum and High Horsepower for doubles, and then Body Press in general. Like Mega Aggron having such a high defense stat, it really wants Body Press, so having that back is big. I don't think the other ones are particularly impactful. Beedrill relearns Baton Pass, Skitter Smack, Pollen Puff, Cross Poison, Throat Chop, Knockoff. Baton Pass not super relevant for us. Skitter Smack I don't really think is relevant. I think Skitter Smack's like 70 base power and X Scissor is 80. So unlikely that you would use Skitter Smack. Cross Poison I think is worse than or the same as Poison Jab. But Throat Chop and Knockoff, really good to have on Beedrill. Aerodactyl gets access to Tailwind, probably not going to use that too much. Dragon Dance, probably not going to use that too much. And Sandstorm, probably not going to use that too much, but it gets it. Kangaskhan loses Power Up Punch. Really big. If anybody remembers using Kangaskhan back in the day, you would just, Power Up Punch. It's basically a Swords Dance that also does damage. That's crazy. It also doesn't have access to Seismic Toss anymore, but that might have been kind of an old Digsit thing that you couldn't get access to it anyways. That was great because the second hit wasn't reduced in any way. It was still just doing whatever your HP was. So if you're in a VGC format or in a singles format, depending, it would either like it didn't OHKO anything, obviously, because like pretty much all Pokemon are going to have more than 100 HP in VGC or more than 100 or 200 HP in singles, but it two-hit KOs pretty much everything because very few Pokemon have more than 200 HP in doubles. Sorry, at level 50 really, and very few Pokemon have more than 400 HP in singles. So Mega Kangaskhan was really big with Seismic Toss and Power Up Punch, so that's huge. Machamp relearns Cross Poison, High Horsepower, Cross Chop, Darkest Lariat, Throat Chop. Oh, and Rest. I don't know. Rest for like guts things, maybe. But the other stuff, not super relevant, I don't think. Alcremie gets Tri-Attack and Mystical Fire. Not really high on Tri-Attack, but Mystical Fire. Same story as Sylveon getting access to Mystical Fire. Raichu and Alolan Raichu get Rising Voltage again. Both of those are really good to have, although we don't have any terrain in the format currently. So I'm going to pull up Discord over here on the side and make sure I didn't miss anything that I wanted to talk about that I have already posted here. Items. There's a couple other move pool changes, but I don't think those are super relevant. Razor. Yeah. Oh, that's less exciting thing. Still ignoring that. Golurk gets access to Headlong Rush. That's not on this list. Obviously, that activates Golurk's Mega Golurk, Unseen Fist ability, and it's just a stronger move, so that's cool. We talked about that. Talked about Salt Cure. Not on this list. Leech Seed also got reduced from 1/8 to 1/16. I just watched a video on that. So, kind of a bummer for Mega Scovillain. Actually, here, I'll just bring this over here. Yeah, you can see that just fine. Kind of a bummer for Mega Scovillain. Yeah, supposedly they didn't change it in game. I did see that they changed it in game. It did look like that Mega Scovillain that was using Leech Seed was getting more HP back than I expected, but that could have just been my perception was being off. And then I think we talked about all this. Rock Blast and Bullet Seed are now Ball/Bomb moves. Obviously, that's reasonable. Like that's for what's it called? Bulletproof. I'd like to see an ability that boosts ballistic moves, Ball/Bomb moves. That'd be cool. I think that'd be, but yeah, I think that is all there is to talk about here. We can kind of go over the mega abilities a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to reformat this. Bear with me. I think that shows everything just fine. So Mega Clefable getting Magic Bounce. I'm not super high on Mega Clefable. The stat boost is nice, but I think Magic Bounce is also just like a nice ability. But right now, like Magic Bounce doesn't add a lot to things Clefable does, and Clefable being flying type also doesn't add a lot to what Clefable does. So it's really going to have to find a way to carve out a niche there. I think this is just going to be kind of like a convenient addition to Mega. I feel like there's going to be a lot of the debate with this Pokemon. It's just like, hey, can I just draft Mega Clefable but not Mega Evolve it? And sure, we just have to adjust the cost for that. We have to make sure we're right on that. Mega Victory Bell getting innards out is like the lamest thing ever. I've seen some people saying like, hey, well, Mega Banette with Prankster, you can always just like its gimmick there is Prankster Destiny Bond to just trade. Mega Victory Bell, it's harder to play around that. Yeah, but you get the most value out of this if you're getting O-Code. Mega Victory Bell, it's not going to be easy to O-Co it. You're just getting a little bit of damage when you die. Otherwise, you don't have... Like, this is basically Aftermath. That's really what it might as well say. Honestly, sometimes Aftermath might do more damage. Sometimes this will do more damage. It's a more variable Aftermath that doesn't care about contact moves. So, it's kind of a side grade. I don't know what to really make of this. Mega Starmie getting huge power. It's crazy. It's going to be very good. It's going to be a top tier Pokemon. I expect Mega Starmie to get drafted basically every season it's available. Mega Dragonite, keeping multi-scale. It's not exciting, but I do think it's good. Like, we've seen regular Dragonite be very successful over many years with multi-scale. Mega Dragonite's going to do the same thing. Meganium Mega Soul, going to be really good. This is going to be like this is obviously a defining feature of this Mega Pokemon. Synthesis healing so much. Full power solar beams going off. Weather Ball. Going to be a very good Pokemon. Mega Feraligatr Dragonize. Mega Feraligator's been very controversial in the sense that people are just like, well, it's not faster than regular Feraligatr, or not much faster, I guess. I can't remember which one it is. So you might as well just run Life Orb, Sheer Force, Gator, and save your Mega Slot. This functions differently. This is a wall breaker. You're just going to Swords Dance, Aqua Jet, Liquidation, and Double Edge, and you're just going to be trying to break through stuff, and you're going to try to pick off things that revenge kill you with Aqua Jet. This is a breaker, not a sweeper. Mega Skarmory getting Stalwart. Maybe some of the VGC players can talk more about if Stalwart's going to be good on Mega Skarmory. I don't know. The only other Pokemon I know gets Stalwart is Archaladon, and from what I'm aware of, it doesn't use it too often. But Mega Skarmory, you could have given it Honey Gather, and it was going to be a good Mega. Just because of what it can do pre-Mega, being able to set up a Swords Dance potentially on a physical attacker, activate its weak armor to get the speed boost, and then Mega Evolve, it's going to be very strong. Mega Skarmory doesn't need this ability to be good. It might just be a boon for it in doubles, where probably Skarmory is less Mega Skarmory would probably be less viable. So I think that's a good balancing thing they did. Mega Chimecho is, again, not a super exciting Pokemon, because with this typing and its move pool and everything, I think people are just going to look at it kind of as Bronzong. And I can't really blame them. Obviously, Bronzong doesn't get Recover, and Mega Chimecho does. This is going to be kind of a setup merchant, just kind of Calm Mind, Psychic Noise / Stored Power / Psyshock, whatever you want to go with there. Maybe Flash Cannon, maybe like Dazzling Gleam to hit Dark types that are going to resist your Psychic. And then Recover. I think that's probably mostly what you're looking at, but it does have a pretty varied move pool. I think this is going to be a decent Mega. Mega Frostlass is going to be very strong. You only really need to talk about 5, maybe 6 moves on this Pokemon because of its high base speed and high special attack. Obviously, Blizzard is going to be stapled on every Mega Frostlass, along with likely Shadow Ball, maybe Thunderbolt, and then Aurora Veil Nasty Plot. Maybe you could do like a Will-O-Wisp Hex sort of thing with it. I think this is a waste if you're trying to set up spikes with it, but Blizzard is going to be the main trick here. I think it's just going to be a question of if you're going to be doing Aurora Veil or Nasty Plot, or both. You could do both. I don't think it'll hurt. Mega Emborg Mold Breaker, again, not exciting, but like, let's see. The things that it affects on this list immediately is it's not going to be statusing Mega Clefable, so ignoring that, but can hit through multi-scale. I don't know if it ignores Stalwart and doubles, but can Earthquake a Mega Chimecho. Nothing else on this list. But, can hit Flash Fire Pokemon. It also gets stuff. It has access to Wild Charge, so it could, if it's going for a Wild Charge on like a Lantern or something, it's not going to have to get Volt Absorbed. It's not great, but it's also not bad. So Mega Emborg, really just look at this Pokemon from a stats point of view, and it'll be solid. It's going to be a solid mid-tier Mega. Mega Excadrill gets access to Piercing Drill. I think most people know what Piercing Drill does now. It does the same thing as what Unseen Fist does. Not super exciting from a singles perspective, but I don't think it needs to be. This thing's base speed and attack, and just people have seen what Excadrill does. Every once in a while, someone's going to protect on this thing. It's going to be able to get a little bit more damage off. I think it's still very good. You're not going to be able to play Wish Protect around Mega Excadrill too much, assuming that it has contact moves, which it has access to high horsepower that it can run to benefit from it if it's worried about having to hit through protect. But Mega Excadrill is going to be good even if you ignore the ability. Mega Chandelure is a little bit disappointing. It's very strong. I think this needs team support because its base 90 speed is underwhelming. And it's very strong, don't get me wrong, it's pretty bulky, but Infiltrator doesn't really do much for it that like a regular Chandelure doesn't already do. It's only a 10 base speed increase. Everything else went into its special attack and defenses, and I think probably even a little bit into attack for no reason. So Mega Chandelure, I don't think is going to be significantly better than regular Chandelure. I could be proven wrong, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Mega Golurk, I think, is not going to be super good either. I think you'd struggle to find reasons to use this over regular Golurk because I think Choice Band Golurk, I know Dakota really likes Choice Scarf Golurk, like No Guard, Poltergeists, Stone Edges, Dynamic Punches. I think you're still going to want to use those because Unseen Fist doesn't boost a lot of its primary stab options outside of Headlong Rush. You might not want to use that because you don't want to drop your defenses. So I struggle with that one a little bit. Mega Chesnaught Bulletproof. This is just going to be good from a stats perspective. It's just Chesnaught but Mega. It's right there on the tin. It's not going to do anything different, but it's just going to be what if Chesnaught was better at doing what it already does. So that'll be good. Mega Delphox, they could have given this no ability and it would have been good. Great speed, great special attack. Good move pool. Levitate is nice that it just kind of, can ignore one of its immunities. Ignore one of its weaknesses, turn it into an immunity. It can't benefit from Psychic Terrain, but A, Psychic Terrain's not in the game, and B, you didn't want this banned, right? So Levitate's good. Mega Greninja access to Protean. Battle Bond Greninja is out of the game. You cannot import it into Champions, so keep that in mind. This is still going to be very good. It's, I think, the fastest Mega on this list. Yeah, I think so. Fastest Mega on this list currently, and really strong. You're going to be able to, what Greninja does. These are just better forms of their base form. They don't do a lot of different stuff. Mega Floette has access to Fairy Aura, which is good for it because I don't think it gets any attacking moves outside of like Magical Leaf that are not Fairy type. But that's a big boost to its special attack. I believe it's a 30% boost to all Fairy moves and it already has a crazy high special attack. This is going to be kind of a very predictable Pokemon, but going to be quite good. Probably just like Calm Mind, Wish, Protect, Moonblast. If you want to be crazy and run like Light of Ruin and take a whole bunch of recoil, feel free. But I think that this is going to be... I think this is going to be a fun Pokemon to use, but I don't necessarily know how good it is because it's pretty one-note. Mega Meowstic. Mega Meowstic's tough because Mega Alakazam is in the format, meaning this is Temu Mega Alakazam. Even to a point, this is Temu Mega Delphox. Remember when it used to be Wish? I like how that we just keep coming up with cheaper and worse merchandising websites. But Mega Meowstic, I think in a vacuum is pretty good, but it's kind of outclassed by other Megas that do identical things. Mega Hawlucha having no guard is pretty cool, just because it can like go for high jump kick and Stone Edge and can't miss, but those are really the only moves that are boosted by the that are boosted by no guard, which at least that does give it some sort of a distinction versus Galarian Zapdos, and hopefully it'll still have a distinction once Mega Staraptor comes out, because Mega Staraptor keeps like Reckless or something and gets access to like that'll be, I mean, Reckless, or honestly just Reckless, because I'm no longer believing the leaks that came out. Yeah, I don't know. Mega Hawlucha will be cool. Right now, the big thing on Champions is it's running Entrainment to give no guard to Vanillux, so Vanillux can click Sheer Cold. That, unfortunately, seeing that made me think, oh, this is what they meant by balance patching. They're going to make it I don't know how they'll fix it. They'll probably just take entrainment away from Mega Hawlucha, or they'll do something to or they'll do something to Sheer Cold. Mega Crabominable has Iron Fist, not contrary as some leaks were indicating. Less exciting. It's still going to be very strong. This is going to be a cheap Mega that people want to pick up and break with. If people want to run a Trick Room centered team, it'll be better in doubles for that reason, just because I know Trick Room is much stronger in doubles than it is in singles. So yeah, that'll be good. And then Mega Drampa, same thing. This is the special version of Mega Crabominable. Everything I just said for that, it's the same. Mega Scovillain has Spicy Spray. I think this is really cool. In doubles, it's more powerful. In singles, it's still, I think, going to be really good, just being able to spread burns and chip down Mons. Really kind of a bummer that for this Pokemon in particular, that Leech Seed is doing 1/16 as opposed to 1/8, because it would have been better at chipping stuff down. But I still think that this is going to find a place on some teams. It's a support Mega, so it's not super exciting, but I do think it is going to be effective at what it's designed to do, which is burn everything and just chip stuff. You'll probably see this on teams with a fast Ghost type, just to be able to come in and click Specs or Scarf Hex and get off on a bunch of burned opponents. Mega Glimmora has adaptability. Mega Glimmora was a Pokemon I was very worried about, because leaks were saying Levitate, which doesn't give it a lot of cachet, because a lot of the times you're running... regular Glimmora is a Pokemon that is defined by its held item. You could run Red Card to, like, come in on a resisted physical attack and then get toxic debris up and then force out your opponent into a random Pokemon, hopefully poisoning that Pokemon, getting up a hazard, and putting them in a bad momentum situation, all at the same time. You would run Air Balloon, so that way they had to pop your Air Balloon, and then you would be able to negate your... you'd be able to get up Toxic Spice and basically have a free turn, because they'd have to hit you with a not very effective move to pop your Air Balloon. You would run Meteor Beam, Power Herb. Can't do any of that on Mega Glimmora. So they gave it adaptability, which is such a big power boost, and at the 101 speed tier, I do think it's going to be hard for some people to deal with. In addition to the fact, I would have to check, but I feel like it gets rock polish. I think this could be a pretty viable mid to high tier Mega, just because it's going to be so strong. Like, adaptability Sludge Waves are going to be scary coming off of this thing's special attack stat, which I think is like 130 something, 140 something. Here, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Not there. By the way, Brett, I'm going to need some help with some stuff here. Mega Glimmora, 150 special attack, 101 speed. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty darn good. But I don't think there's anything else for me to really talk about. This is just making the Pokemon Champions meta. I don't know what we're going to do for the next season. I'm going to kind of wait and see how things progress. If we want to do a doubles thing, I won't be responsible for making a tier list. I don't know enough about it. So I'm going to leave that up to other people if they want to do some sort of a Champions VGC format. I won't be involved in heading that up. I mean, I can help with it, but I can't make the tier list. I just don't know enough. So you guys let me know what you want to do. Throw out ideas. But I'm leaning toward off-season right now. I don't think that this is a metagame that makes sense to do a regular season in just yet. I think we need to wait for more Pokemon, more items to be added before we venture down that road. That's all for me. I'll definitely keep you updated on kind of any changes to what we got going on here. Thank you all. Goodbye.